This build is breaking the last epoch. No, really guys, this Warlock now is rank 1 in the last epoch ladder and he hit arena level 1,627. That's insanely impressive. In here we can see his build, but when we click him, this player is already took away all his gear, almost all his gear. So we can't actually find out what is his build and how he achieved it. Luckily for you, I was fast enough to check his complete build. He achieved this awesome result, and I will share it with you right now. Let's go. And before we'll jump into the gear, let's start with our skill distribution. So first of all, of course, it's Warlock. Warlock Mastery from MacLeod. And on our hotbar and on our skill specialization, we get Bone Curse, we get 𝐑𝐀𝐍𝐊, Spirit Plague, Just Flame, and Profane Wheel. And let's start with our first spells that you can actually even use for leveling. It will be Spirit Plague and Bone Curse. Bone Curse for this build leveled, like I would say, a little bit different than most builds I saw already. So Bone Curse basically applying curse to enemies in area for 8 seconds. It's not doing any damage at all, but when you hit with any type of damage, it will inflict damage afterwards. So you're doing stuff like this, and this will apply curse. But also with this build, he's using cage, Bone Curse, that creates this cage. So it's protective for you, or it can be used to just make enemies clamp up in one place. So leveling for this stuff is simple. We get damage note over here, 2 points. In Iron Maiden, we get Brittle Bones. It will give kill threshold for the skill and increase damage. So really useful stuff. You just apply this skill, and when enemies get below 12% health, they instantly die. Really useful against big enemies, bosses, and other guys like this. But main part is over here. We get 4 points in Conflation to increase area. And also this 4 points gives us access to this right part, Sigil of Mortality. Bone Curse will apply Mark of Dash for 2 seconds, and Mark of Dash will basically increase damage taken by enemies by 25%. Really big increase of damage, because it's increasing basically all damage taken, not just damage of Bone Curse. We don't care about this damage too much. And also Reaper's Mark, we get 2 points in here, and it will last longer by 100%. It means it will last for 4 seconds. That's more than enough. You will recast Bone Curse every 4 seconds anyway, most of the time. So also he got a few points in Defiled Defenses. It got chance to reduce enemy armor. I'm not sure about this note, so like most of our damage is actually necrotic. Mostly like necrotic fire damage, mix of it. But Bone Curse is physical damage, so possibly just because Bone Curse is physical damage, Defiled Defenses is a really nice note to have. And in the bottom over here we get Bone Prison. That's basically Bone Prison that raising skeletons. And also he invested in these notes pretty much, in this note 3. He got also 5 points in here to increase Bone Prison health. And also Bone Curse have significantly shorter cooldown with Shattered Prison, but now has gaps, so you can run away. Is it used defensively, offensively? We will try this build right now, but first of all let's finish with other skills. It will be of course Spirit Plague. So Spirit Plague leveled like this. We got bottom note, increasing global damage over time. A very nice and powerful note. Again, he got build and all items with more levels in skills, and he got a little bit more levels than me right now, because he got basically like almost best in slot gear when he did this run. And Pestilence is basically nice. It's increasing global damage over time, and this build will be scaling with damage over time. So when you basically like scaling damage for this build, you want necrotic, spell, and damage over time, and curse damage, and intelligence. Everything you see on the screen right now in scaling tanks of Spirit Plague will work, because that's basically scaling text for all our skills. After increasing damage over time, I would go to the right side to increase damage with Rotten to the core, and also go to the right one more time to increase more damage, but reducing spirit range. It doesn't matter, spirit range is more than enough still. Enemies clamp up anyway, you don't need this spread range. For those of you who don't know, you're basically cursing targets, they starting to take damage over time for 3 seconds, and then when they die, they spreading this plague to nearby targets. So it's useful against a lot of enemies in one place. When you just apply this curse and kill this enemy, he will spread this plague, but range is not so important. And then he goes top from Pestilence to Hemorrhage. It gives bleed stacks to this ability, and he got all nodes over here. He got right nodes, Extinguishing, physical penetration with bleed. So bleed got some physical penetration, not bad, and also mana gain on kill. So just to regain some mana, it's nice. You applying curse, you killing targets, they spreading curse, you gaining mana. It's nice for sustainability of your mana pool. And also Laceration, chance to bleed afflicted enemies on hit. So this node is really useful too. And Plague Burst, chance to spread on hitting afflicted enemy. You have a chance to spread plague when you hit basically these enemies. That's very nice too. And also Agonizing Expanse. Spirit Plague spreads when you critically strike an afflicted target. We got point in here too. Now we're going to the Warlock. So when you get in Warlock, you will unlock all other skills like Ketonic Fissure, Will, and Just Flame. And let's start with Fissure. It's our main ability. It's looking like this with this build, and it's right now on my right click. Why? Because it will be used as Traveling ability. Traveling ability, I like to use it on right click, and it looks awesome. So what nodes we got over here? We got a right side. First of all, 2 points in dash from below, increasing damage, and this damage will be doubled if target cursed. We cursing targets, and yeah, it will be nice. Because even if you're not cursing enemies with other curses like Bone Curse, like Spirit Plague, Fissure is curse itself. It's releasing spirits, and spirits will inflict torment, which is curse. So dash from below, 2 points, Pyroclasm, Fissure fire damage on hit. Yeah, now Fissure initial impact will hit with fire damage, with 300 effectiveness. Pretty nice. But we want this node anyway to get to Ketonic Passage, and this gives you ability to travel along this fissure, but will increase cooldown. That's totally fine, because you don't want to cast a lot of fissures in one place. You want to cast it and leave it as it is, because it will stand still and cast these spirits and destroy enemies. So, that was right side. What's on the left? On the left we got 1 point in Fragile Crust to reduce mana cost, but that's mostly to gain access to next node. So at the bottom we got increased damage to rares and bosses, doubled if cursed, and I wouldn't go to this node initially. Better get other nodes first. So left one, Spirit Gale. When tormented enemies die, they have a chance to release spirit. So additional damage against packs of enemies, very powerful node. But Severed Words is really nice one. So spirits hits shred enemy necrotic resistance. All our skills is necrotic damage, and this will shred resistance of enemies, so increase damage against bosses, because we got a lot of chances to reduce resistance, and also against high corruption enemies. Then we're going to stop Stygian Current, increasing spirit frequency. You want all points in here. If you got some points, you will release spirits faster, they will do more damage. That's cool. And also our final note in here of Gloom and Flames. We get secondary fissure for increased mana cost. And normally you're doing this fissure, so just remember, I'm standing on this part. I'm doing fissure, and normally it's just one line, but here we got 2 lines in 2 directions. Very useful for speed clearing. You just run away, enemies go after you, you're doing this traversal skill, and enemies need to go through this fissure, and they will basically die instantly when they're trying to do so. And here we got 2 notes more. So Fellfire, ignited enemy spreads all your ignite stacks from it to a number of enemies around it, so additional damage. And also this note mainly taken just to go to Tom Gorger. Torment deals more damage. That's it. So that's our powerful stuff. And we got this our main damaging ability. So main combination is Bone Curse, Spirit Plague. You just cast the Spirit Plague on enemies, and Ketonic Fissure. That's it. So that's basically what you're doing. Curse, Plague, Fissure. And most of the time it will be done you're doing curse, you're doing one more curse, you're getting away, and enemies stuck in this cage, and they basically dying over here. Very powerful stuff. But we got 2 safety skills and also damaging skills. So we get Profane Will. You becoming like little Pokeball and traveling to the map. It's useful to basically ignore some damage and save yourself from strong enemies to evade some big boss attacks, because you can only be hit with area of damage attacks, damage over time and other stuff. So you kind of ignoring normal hits. But just playing is channeled ability, you basically doing something like this, and it's useful for speed clearing and other stuff. Pretty fun. Also, you getting some nice move speed, and it's nice for traveling through the map. How we level these abilities? Let's go. Just playing is easy and straightforward. So that's all notes we need to take. Ignore left notes first. Decide, do you want Domain of Torment? It will give you more damage and more areas. So depending on what and how you're playing, you want to take it first or just after this tree. But normally you're going with Brace Form. You gain additional dodge rating per intelligence. So gaining more dodge rating and more dodge rating while channeling, you be more protective. Pretty nice one. Also Spectral Menace, you reduce channeling cost, and current mana will be converted into ward while you're channeling. So that's nice. And that's how it looks like. So we got like 2.6k ward right now. We're pressing this channeling ability, and as you can see, it's just start charging up. That's how it works. You're using this skill and you're gaining your ward, your protection. Domain of Agony, you're increasing your damage basically, then getting 1 point in Spirit of Dread. Note, and now you get increased movement speed while channeling by increasing channeling cost. It's not costing too much of mana, and also you will regain some mana if enemies is afflicted by Spirit Plague Curse, so that's totally fine. And also then you get in the next note, Doom Surge, to increase move speed while channeling even more. Again, really useful for speed farming and other stuff. And then you can go to the left side. So Dread Furnace, 2 points in here. You get the chance to inflict Damned and Ignite on hit, but also you want this Disdain. You will reduce damage taken while channeling. So again, it's pretty useful. You're just doing all stuff on enemies and then just channeling, and you will take reduced damage. You don't want to take high damage or you will basically be defeated. So that's like self-explanatory stuff, I guess. And next skill is Profane Will. And that's our like most secret stuff. This is useful for highest corruption, and that's how you manage to beat highest bosses and other stuff in this game with this build basically. That's super secret skill. So let's start with the left part. But again, you should be like really high level at this point, and you should level the skill pretty fast. It should be like high levels really fast. So we got this note over here, Spirit Plate. You will have more armor on damage over time effects to be more protective in this form. Also Discourage. You will inflict slow and leech some health in this form, so useful. Because when you're in this form, you kinda leeching your health. Yep, that makes sense, I guess. But it's not leeching from this damage. It's leeching basically from all damage types. And now our combination will look like this. It will be Bone Curse, Spirit Plague. You can do Fissure and then enter into this form. So while entering this form, you will leech from all damage over time inflicted, and that's just insane health regeneration stuff. But we get in this 1 point to get to the next node. Scorn. Damage to cursed while concealed. You deal more global damage to cursed enemies. So you're cursing enemies with your curses, and you start to doing more damage with all curses. So that's kind of like ramping up our damage by insane amount. This like is crazy node. Also we get in more area with Sable Inquisition over here, and also Stream of Profanity. Directly casting a curse skill reduces Profane Will remaining cooldown, and it can be occur maximum of 10 times. That's more than enough. So normally our cooldown is 10 seconds. Let me just use it, so I used it. And now look, I'm casting curses basically and restarting this stuff. That's it basically. I can cast it once again. I'm doing more curses and it's regenerated. So more curses and again it's regenerated. That's crazy. So it looks cool. But how I'm getting like 16k word in a second? Yeah, that's the question. And it's easy to answer. It's really easy to answer because you need to go to the bottom right, get Eternal Blasphemy to increase duration and move speed in this form. 3 points in here, really useful stuff. But after 2 points, you can go here, Vampiric Pool. Profane Will now consumes your minions, and consuming minions will grant you ward, equal to a proportion of their maximum health. I remind you guys, Bone Curse, this node over here, we maxed out to give this Bone Prison 2,500 health. This means we can consume these walls basically. These walls count as our minions by using Profane Will, and after consuming we get in like around 20k ward. You can gain even more depending on your stats, but that's more than enough, guys. That's crazy. Let's go. So that was our skills. Now let's go to passives. So passives, I guess we're starting with Acolyte, how we level in the early game. In the early game, you get in Forbidden Knowledge to increase your intelligence and necrotic resistance. Remember these stats, we will stack them a lot. Then Stolen Vitality, increase our vitality and minion health. Again, you already kinda getting grasp. What is this build all about? You want higher health minions, while having like basically 0 minion skills. Then we get in 1 point in Mania of Mortality, just to get to this node, to increase ward retention, necrotic resistance. Our like main stuff. So main defensive stats. Well, you as always want to have resistances capped to around like 75%. You're focusing on necrotic resistance and you want to have it as much as possible. So when I lastly saw his like final stats, it was around 700 necrotic resistance. That's crazy. So then after Acolyte you can go to the Warlock instantly and start leveling Warlock after 20 points in Acolyte. It will be 5 points in Soul Stealer, increasing mana regeneration, effect cooldown, and with 5 points you get in this passive increase with chance per curse to gain mana on hit with 13 mana gain. Pretty nice, 5 points gives a lot of value in here. Oculist Mind, getting 5 points, getting intelligence and getting more mana. Why not? Again, we need to go to the later nodes, it's really useful one. Also we're getting 6 points in Unholy Torment, spell damage for curses and increasing area for curses. I guess it's self-explanatory. We're using curses as main damage and yeah. Then Word of Malevolence, word decay threshold, word gained on kill, and word per second per 2 intelligence while channeling. So you like increasing your word gain while channeling, really cool stuff, and more word. Also Doom Herald, less damage taken while channeling, we're using channeling skill a lot, and also increasing damage to enemies while we're channeling. Then these 2 nodes here, we get Malefic Body to increase intelligence and vitality, really useful stuff. And Wither, 5 points in here, you get Withering chance on hit, and Withering will increase damage taken from curses by 10%. And you can stack up to 20 times, so increasing damage is just like horrific, I would say, horrific increase. Also 1 point in Encroaching Darkness, you basically afflict enemies with anguish. And you don't like need to worry what's going on, because you just need afflicted targets for some combinations with our skill, so don't like worry too much. That's nice, 1 point in here. Also, Chaotic Strikes. Your hits have a chance to deal double damage. That's nice, but we're taking 2 points in here to get to the next node. Critical Multiplier, plus 40%. So, Critical Multiplier with Chaotic Strikes, also plus 30%. I guess it's useful for this build, so let's just copy this stuff. And you have a chance to gain haste for 2 seconds with Fleeting Crown. Again, haste is really nice, we can be faster. And also we got 2 points in increased casting speed and increased casting speed for curses here. Before, there was 5 points in this node and more points in other stuff, but right now it's changed. It changed because he spent this 10 points that we saved over here to Necromancer. So Necromancer got Grave Turns, increasing minion health, and I guess you know why, and we need this node. And also Reclamation of Souls, increasing ward retention and gaining more ward on minion dash. So right now with this distribution we can do this Bone Curse and we can basically use this stuff. And look, we got like insane amount of ward instantly. Again. And also we got 28 points in Leech, increasing intelligence and mana regeneration, necrotic damage, damage over time, and also 8 point in intelligence. So that's our build. Now let's see this in action. But to see this in action we need our gear. And if you remember correctly, this player has hidden his gear, so no one can replicate it. I'm sorry, Mr. Imba, but I saw your gear, so let me show you. He used this basic combination of 𝐑𝐀𝐍𝐊 and Last Steps of the Living, our two uniques, really powerful uniques that gives us this word battery, like call it however you like. Basically, it changing your health to ward and doing it every second. Really powerful stuff. And you can see we got low health, but ward is basically charging every second, and we just standing still and we're getting more and more and more and more ward every second basically. So this combination becomes really like broken when we're using Bone Curse, getting this stuff, and we're already above 20k ward instantly. So stuff that I haven't saw actually, what relic he got. Right now he's using Murama's Hilt, it increasing melee attack speed, curse damage, curse spellcast speed, it's pretty nice. And he got necrotic resistance on it, so probably it's really useful. Probably Twisted Heart of 𝐑𝐀𝐍𝐊 can be useful too. And he's using this right now on his Necromancer. Again, it's kind of the same effect. You convert in ward by your health, it giving you more health. So it's kind of more survivability, a little bit less in power of your curses. So let's stick with this item, with Murama's Hilt. Next item is Mahijin Hubris. It gives you armor, endurance, increasing fire damage every time. We got some fire damage every time, so why not? Also vitality and intelligence, and all bleed chance will be converted to ignite chance. That's super useful because we got like some bleed chance on some of our skills and abilities, and now we making like completely single damage type. We got necrotic and fire, so do a damage type. It's better than like all damage types. Also, he got Immolator's Ablation. You get 100% chance to ignite yourself when you use fire or necrotic skill. More damage with fire and necrotic skills per stack of ignite on you, up to 40. You also gain chance to get frenzy, increasing ignite duration, and you get a chance to cleanse all alignments on potion use. So when you're starting to like fire up yourself, you will do more damage. And if you think you're in danger, you just use potion, like reduce this stuff, but it's totally fine too. And I guess you see combination right now already. You should see it. So you're doing Bone Curse, you're doing this stuff, we're doing this stuff, and basically eating our like school prison right now. We're getting a lot of bar, doing like insane amount of damage. By the way, in the description there's link for my build planner page where you can get my build planners, item filters, and other stuff. For build planner for this build, you need to go to the like top left, switch to build planners, and then this will be rank 1 player builds, and then it's on cooldown, and we're basically rinsing and repeating. We're doing this skill like turning around and then eating this stuff again, and we're already at 25k ward, and that's just insane. Already insane, and we are not up to the like our school yet. Bone Claimer Barboot. It gives you armor, dexterity, intelligence, necrotic resistance, and it gives you wards per second per uncapped necrotic resistance. That's why you want high necrotic resistance with this build. So our rings. Our rings gives a lot of cool stuff to minion spell damage and volatile zombies, but I guess there's one single reason why he got these rings, because it gives you necrotic resistance and ward decay threshold. So he got duo of these rings with nice bonuses on them. I got no bonuses, I get only uniques, so this build can be a lot stronger than it right now. So for amulet you can go with the Omnis that got necrotic resistance, and basically it will copy all your resistances later. And for offhand catalyst, basically he got this opulent focus. It gives you intelligence, ward per second, and ward retention, and like some nice alignments on it. Basic damage over time, like necrotic damage, casting speed, something like this will work. And Mad Alchemist Ladle. It gives you spell damage, mana, reducing mana cost, and a lot of chances of some random stuff that can be like converted later. So yeah, that's nice. Also increasing casting speed by your intelligence, very nice. So idols. What about idols? That's complete idol setup, so I copied it. We got increased damage over time and less damage over time taken. Makes sense because we got a lot of protection but not from damage over time, so that's cool. Same 3 idols, like this. Then 3 idols of small Etherean idol, increasing damage over time, And that's it, basically, your main stat on this idol. And also he got basic health idols. So I'm not 100% sure on idols, that's probably lane up, but also he got a lot of necrotic resistance idols right now and curse spell damage idols. So you can experiment with them, that's what to look for. And let's see it like in action, empowered. Let's do it on like 260 corruption. This build definitely can go to probably like 1k corruption easily. So we can just run around like this or do all the useful stuff and just destroy these guys. And looks amazing. I don't know, we are kind of like unkillable. Now we're out of mana, we can do like destroying these guys and doing some curses. Oh my goodness, damage is just insane. Let's just eat everything over here. Oh my. So make sure to apply all curses and then just look how everyone being destroyed really easily. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess coolest part is that we basically can't be destroyed. We're just doing a lot of stuff. We can just leave these curses everywhere and just cast and do some fun stuff. When we're out of ward, make sure to eat this cage and then let's just run around and have fun. That's main idea of this build. Run around and have fun. So I hope you enjoyed this awesome Warlock build. Make sure to watch other cool videos on the screen right now.